Thank you, Herr Papst, Mr. Montes, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very pleased to be here today with you and share some experience which the German-Russian Forum is acting upon in the field of civil society and bringing these results to the fore here at the World Public Forum on the one hand, and on the other hand being impulsated for all its activity by the relationship between Germany and Russia. Now, the question, of course, would be, why does a civil society organization work in the international field, in international relationship? But, I mean, it's almost obvious and it doesn't need much explanation that development in the world in England or Great Britain at the beginning of the 19th century, all the world has learned from this. And it's so obvious that we have to share experience with others. And this explains the international outlook, the international orientation of the German-Russian Forum. Now, you could also ask, why in the world does the German-Russian Forum only concentrate on Russia? Why don't we have an international forum like the World Forum for Diplomacy? This is, again, explained by the fact that you cannot embrace everything at once. You have to concentrate on the feasible, on the things that are within your reach. And I think under these two conditions, working internationally on the one hand, but working also on the other hand, in our specific case, only in a one-oriented relationship that is with Russia and through Russia, we have the, shall I say, justification for what we do. Now, the German-Russian Forum was founded in 1993, was founded as an organization which mainly addressed the business world. To this very day, the German-Russian Forum is mainly subsidized and financed by the German business, be it contributions, be it sponsorship, whatever. Our whole program is mainly a service to the business community and the business relationship between Germany and Russia. Now, obviously, we are not dealing with strictly business matters. Strictly speaking, business matters are handled by another institution, which is the German Committee for Foreign Trade, the Eastern Committee of German Business. A huge organization, again, based on big German business companies who are facilitating the trade relationship, the business relationship between Germany and Russia. Now, we, the German-Russian Forum, are concentrating on the spiritual, ethical, societal environment in which business will take place. And here we have developed various fora of activity. The one is, for instance, addressing the youth under various programs which we have. Why is it the youth that we put into the forefront? I think the simple explanation will be that the future of our relationship is with the younger generation. The tasks ahead of Russia in their modernization are so enormous that one will not be able to count on only a few years of things to be achieved. It will last maybe a generation, maybe more. Would be wonderful if it would be less, but anyway, it is the young generation which actually will carry the flag onward into a completely new relationship of Russia towards Europe, including Germany, in the years to come. And this is why we concentrate on the youth. We have one program of young leaders seminars twice a year, one in Russia, one in Germany, where we invite young people about 30 to maximum 40 at each stage. And they spend seminars together, working together, visiting business plants and things like that. And at the end of this week, there is quite a coherence within that group, and we invite these people to become members of an alumni club, which is very active. This alumni club is the network for our future relationship with Russia. It exists already. There are about 300, 400 young people nowadays who have come together over the last 15 years. That's one aspect. We invite young journalists from Russia to spend a practical stage in Germany for four weeks in the main central media, and again, through working an insight on how German thinking expresses itself within the media. We have organized, with the help of the Russian Ruski Mir, we have organized a yearly competition among schools, which will, just by a play, get a first entrance into the knowledge of Russian. And hopefully this will lead to the fact that more young people will start learning Russian. The one institution which is particularly in charge of youth exchange between Germany and Russia exists in Hamburg as a foundation for the youth exchange between the two governments. It was carried through by the St. Petersburg Dialogue, and I must admit, mainly on an impulse which came from the German-Russian Forum, because again we thought this would be an institution worthwhile to have. Now, this is one area where we are particularly proud of that it exists. We support twin city arrangements between German and Russian cities. There are about some 80 nowadays. Every 2 years we organize a conference which brings together particularly involved, engaged cities in Germany and Russia who present the results of their work. What are they doing? They're working together in practical fields like the exchange of experience and material in fire brigades, for instance. There are exchange programs between Russian and German hospitals, training of nurses and doctors. There are some wonderful programs for addressing the needs of the elder generation who are who are, so to say, at the fringes of society, and they would, by programs of inviting them back into societal activities, they will have a meaningful life again. That's particularly important for war veterans. Some wonderful programs exist in this field. I could tell you many more different aspects. I just wanted to show some of it. Let me come back to the business community, which I find particularly important, and that is, how can a society-oriented organization like the German-Russian Business, German-Russian Forum, impulsate business? Yes, we can do it by being where we are and organizing conferences, organizing seminars, organizing lectures, and inviting business representatives to get a better knowledge, a first-hand knowledge of Russia, and thus encourage them to take up business activities in Russia. Nowadays, we have 6,300 German companies in Russia. And most of them, of course, are small and medium-sized business. We don't have that many big, huge companies that would be 6,000 of the size of Deutsche Bank or Siemens or Volkswagen. Definitely not. The big bulk is small and medium-sized business. And by being in Russia, they bring their business culture to the country where they work. And that brings about a certain change of the general attitude, how business can be or should be done. And by supporting and encouraging business entrepreneurs to go to Russia, I think we are contributing to the development of a new business culture also between our countries. And that this is that's not our the result, not the direct result of our work, but the fact that business exchange over the last 3 years has almost gained 30% every year is a token for the fact that business relations between Germany and Russia are really flourishing. Now, and this will be already my final point because I want to stick to the time limit which you have given. My final point will be, why is it that particularly a civil society organization like the German-Russian Forum takes up that particular responsibility. And to be frank, I would say it is the firm conviction of the people who are working in the forum that it is the individual that matters. New ideas, new challenges, new impulses begin in the mind of one person. But that one person cannot act and cannot effect anything substantially unless one is acting together with others who are inclined to carry on with this task together and bring it to the fore. And this is what civil society really is. Engaging the individual in activities which are given free by the country and the institutions in which they live, in which they act. And once these conditions are there, then change will be possible. And change is modernization, because we have to move on. We cannot stand there and sit and say and wait, the world will change. The world doesn't change unless we change. And we have to bring a contribution to this change. And I think the German-Russian Forum feels very happy and very satisfied that within such a huge conference like the Rhodes Forum, we can show at least one tiny little example of what we are doing, and where I think we're bringing about quite some fruitful results. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. von Studnitz. Can I invite one or two questions to the presentation? Perhaps points of clarification about the cooperation, some of the initiatives that might be applicable to other such links. Can I ask you a particular question? How has the German-Russian Forum tried to promote the creation of small and medium-sized businesses and family-owned businesses, since they very much constitute the backbone of the German economy? So support in terms of either legal provisions or maybe even tax provisions that might be an interesting lesson for other countries that are trying to build up these structures as well.
I'm afraid that that's not the field where we're really acting in creating new businesses. This is not what we can do. I mean, we can show examples where things work by our presentation of various business possibilities and business fields. This we do. I mean, for instance, together with a big company like British Petroleum, who was linked with TNK years ago, we organized two conferences in Berlin where BP TNK wanted to show what they're doing in Russia. And we had invited a broad spectrum of business people from Germany to participate in that conference. It was well visited. About 200, 250 people came to this conference. And the amazing thing was that in that conference, many people came up and asked Bob Dudley, the then chairman of TNK BP, how is it, could we link in this or that activity? There was a direct impulse on the big company looking for small complementary parts being brought to the fore. In that way, we could do something. We have also undertaken an initiative to support business directly, and that is in this fateful visa struggle between the European Union and Russia. There, we also have taken a real initiative. Sadly, I must say, we haven't come yet that far, but we have raised awareness considerably to the point that nowadays we have at least some strong, even though not yet decisive, support in the Bundestag for what we are trying to achieve.
Thank you very much indeed, Dr. von Studnitz.
Okay.
Yes, thanks so much.